Surprise, surprise, surprise. The man connected to a bunch of rich people who flew to a pedophile island has now committed suicide. So, you know what, guys? I think we're gonna call it a day. Let's wrap this up. He hung himself. That's it. End of story. And let's move on. But you know what? I thought that this was way too funny to pass up. I wanted to talk about this because most of you know Jeffrey Epstein from the recent news of the person who got locked up and committed suicide, but actually I've seen his face around for a couple of years now on some conspiracy theory websites. I never really thought too much of this crazy pedophile island, but now with everything coming out, I definitely think that there was a lot of truth to that situation that's now coming out now. There's a lot of rich and powerful people that were connected to this person, and it has very important information relating to all of the famous and wealthy people that went to this so-called pedophile island, or as I like to call it, Lolly Island. Maybe I'm being a little bit nice or funny about it. You could say that I'm maybe making light of a really, really dark situation because there's a lot of young people that were recruited by Jeffrey Epstein's model wife or whatever her name was. I didn't even do that much research, but yeah, basically what she would do is she would find little girls in Manhattan and apparently Trump's resort, Mar-a-Lago too, and she'd be like, "Hey there, kitty, you want to give my husband a back massage? Nothing sexual at all." Then they get there and then she's like, "All right, you gotta suck this guy off," and the girl's like, What? My question is, exactly how much money did they pay these little kids, basically, because some of them were as young as 13, 14, it's just really disgusting, but I just want to know, how did they convince them to do this? Did they blackmail them or something? But the point of me making this video isn't just to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, it's also to make notion that I think the suicide is honestly very, very fishy, because the story behind this is that he allegedly did try to hurt himself. We don't know if it was him or a cellmate or something like that, but he was placed on suicide watch for a couple of weeks. They took it off of him, and they even removed the cellmate that was staying with him in his cell. So, what do you know, a couple of days later, a week or something, he turns up quote-unquote dead. Well, why do you think he ended up dead? Because there were a lot of powerful people that would have had information come out about them, and this was probably information that only he had access to if he was alive, you know? So, you know, me being Bill Clinton, I'm just like, oh man, I flew on that plane about 33 times. I went to that Lolly Island, I saw some nice cat girls, but I'm sorry, Jeffrey, you gotta take one for the team, man. And I really would not be surprised if that happened, but I'm not gonna just take one side of the situation, because there's a lot of people that were allegedly involved with Jeffrey Epstein, and that includes Donald Trump, our president, and some prince from England. I forgot his name, honestly, because like I said, I didn't do a lot of research, so yeah, people who are Trump supporters might say, oh, they weren't involved at all together, but there's a lot of photographs of them together back in the early 2000s, and you might say, oh, that's such a long time ago. One thing that's important that I would like to note is that Donald Trump did in fact, about like 10 years ago, kick Jeffrey out of his resort for harassing underage girls or whatever it was, so I honestly feel like the situation is 50-50. He wouldn't have known back then that he was going to become president, and he most likely wouldn't have known that his reputation had to be protected. So, do I think our president was involved with Jeffrey? I don't know. There's evidence for both sides, because Donald Trump was once quoted saying, and I'm gonna put the proof on the screen, that Donald Trump was aware that Jeffrey Epstein was into younger girls. It doesn't really state how much younger he was aware of, but he definitely said something along those lines, and that's quite fishy considering that the president has been accused of raping girls as young as 14. But of course, there are situations where these people come out and they try to accuse famous people of doing things to them for the purpose of either seeking fame or getting a lot of people to feel sorry for them and give them money on a GoFundMe or whatever these kids do nowadays whenever they want to get money for charity. This was a weird ass video to come back on YouTube to, but I just wanted to make this video to start a discussion perhaps. Maybe you'll get a little bit of a laugh out of this really shitty situation because of my take on it. But honestly, do you guys think he killed himself, or do you think somebody powerful said, we gotta take this guy out, or hey Jeffrey man, just take one for the team. So we don't get in trouble for, you know, going to your lolly island and having fun with those cat girls. So thanks so much for clicking on this video. It has almost been 2 years, and I'm coming back with a video talking about a pedophile that killed himself. I think that's very, very appropriate. But anyways, have a great day and stay awesome. Peace.
Don't you leave me, I need you to need me. If I'm body or blood, please don't you leave me anemic. You left me cause I was too prideful and too conceited. I see a plate of my past words and I'm down to eat it. I'm ready to stop speaking and take some action. What's a black demon to an angel staring at him? Nothing but a puddle of love. Had something worth cherishing but muddled it up. Hard to move on this